I'm going to talk about an incident that happened in 2002 during a military coup against President Chavez, where two mayors, Leopoldo Lopez and Henrique Capriles, were indicted for actions that they did during the coup in arresting a minister. And the arrest of the minister, Chacin, can be seen in a YouTube video that's streaming online. These are two very prominent politicians that went on to careers later. This was one of the early incidents that brought them attention. So the coup of President Chavez. Hugo Chavez was elected democratically president in 1998 and was reelected in 2000 under a new constitution. On April the 11th, 2002, 12 rebellious generals went into the president's residence and arrested Chavez, removed him from the presidential palace, and took control. Pedro Carmona, a prominent businessman, then swore himself in as president. Carmona issued a series of decrees, including one that called for the arrest of Chavez's cabinet ministers. So Carmona ordered the arrest of Chacin, who was Minister of Interior and Justice at the time, and Lopez, who was mayor of Chacao, and Capriles, who was mayor of Baruta, were given the task to arrest Chacin. So this is Ramon Rodriguez Chacin. He was educated as an officer at the Naval School of Venezuela. He served as a professor at the School of Administrative Sciences. He was an administrator. On January the 2nd, or January 24th, 2002, he was appointed by Chavez to be Minister of the Interior and Justice. And so he'd only been on the job for a couple months before April 12th. So here's how Chacin described his arrest. He said the mayors using the police from Baruta surrounded the building where he was, blocked its exits, put snipers on the roof. They then called the private TV channels, proceeded to gather all the neighbors, incite them against the government and me. So it was an angry mob that had collected outside the building where he was. So Chacin further described what happened. He said he told Capriles and Lopez to come in alone, which I think they did. And he asked for an arrest warrant, which they did not have. They just came for him and told him that he was under arrest. And then they said that they would have to leave through the front door because that's where the TV cameras were. And Chacin said, look, it's going to be very risky for me. There's a mob outside that you had stirred up. He told the mayors that. And they disagreed. They said, no, we want the TV coverage of of our action. Now, this is the arrest of Chacin. He's being pushed through. He's surrounded by a mob on all the sides. And again, this is streaming on YouTube. Now, after 48 hours, Chavez was restored to the presidency. Hundreds of thousands of people came out and demanded that the army bring him back, put him back into the presidency, and essentially, with the help of some of the army, that's what happened. Now, Lopez and Capriles then were charged for what they did. It was an illegal arrest. They just went in and took him, and his illegal arrest and detention. But on January the 1st, 2008, President Chavez pardoned them, pardoned both Lopez and Capriles, saying that their amnesty would send a message to the country that we could live together despite our differences. Now, some of Chavez's supporters criticized these pardons, saying that neither Capriles or Lopez had shown any remorse or will to rectify their actions. But President Chavez went ahead with it anyway, and he pardoned them. Now, Lopez, in later years, said, well, he'd just gone over to Chacin's residence because he was asked by Capriles to come along and take custody of the minister to protect him from an angry mob. And of course, that's not the way Chacin remembered the incident at all. He said that Lopez actively participated in stirring up the mob and forcing him to go through the mob after they detained him. And so there's just a total flip of what reality was when Lopez described it during his political career. Now, both of these mayors had later political careers. Capriles ran for the presidency in 2012 and was beaten by Chavez. And then in 2013, he ran for the presidency and was just narrowly beaten by Maduro. Lopez went in a different direction. He believed in street action as a way to bring Chavez and Maduro down. And in 2014, he was sentenced. He was arrested and he was sentenced to 14 years in jail for inciting riots that led to the death of 43 people. So they have had prominent careers and still are around. And the incident that I described happened earlier in their careers and brought them to national attention. The Venezuela Reader maintains a blog, and there is a write-up on the blog that goes over this incident and produces the sources that were used to put it together.